我宣布
The 9,121st meeting of the Security Council is called to order. The provisional agenda for this meeting is the situation in the Middle East. The agenda is adopted. The Security Council will now begin its consideration of Item 2 of the agenda. Members of Council have before them document S/2022/654, the text of a draft resolution submitted by France. I wish to draw the attention of Council members to document S/2022/607, a letter dated 9 August 2022 from the Secretary General addressed to the President of the Security Council. The Council is ready to proceed to the vote on the draft resolution before it. I shall put the draft resolution to the vote now. Will those in favor of the draft resolution contained in document S/2022/654 please raise their hand.
15. 表决
The result of the voting is as follows. The draft resolution received 15 votes in favor. The draft resolution has been adopted unanimously as Resolution 2650 of 2022. I now give the floor to Council members who wish to make statements after the vote. I give the floor to the representative of the United States.
Thank you, Mr. President. The United States welcomes today's renewal of UNIFIL's mandate for an additional year, and we thank France as pinholder for its constructive engagement on this renewal. The United States appreciates the international community's support for Lebanon and the Lebanese armed forces during the country's ongoing crisis. We are pleased to see this mandate reauthorize UNIFIL's provision of non-lethal material and logistical support to the LAF, which will help the LAF to extend and sustain state authority in southern Lebanon, including by increasing joint activities with UNIFIL and accelerating deployment of a model regiment. Through this new mandate, the Council reaffirms UNIFIL's authority to operate independently and to conduct both announced and unannounced patrols under the terms of its Status of Forces Agreement with the government of Lebanon and consistent with the terms of the mission's mandate. This is an important reminder, as the Secretary General has reported, that UNIFIL peacekeepers are blocked with increasing frequency from conducting their mandated tasks and accessing sites of concern. The proliferation of prefabricated containers placed by Green Without Borders obstructs UNIFIL's access to the blue line and is heightening tensions in the area, further demonstrating that this so-called environmental group is acting on Hezbollah's behalf. The presence of firing ranges in UNIFIL's area of responsibility, a serious escalation of Hezbollah's open defiance of Resolution 1701, is also increasing tensions in southern Lebanon. We urge the Lebanese authorities as the host state to facilitate UNIFIL's full and timely access to UNIFIL's entire area of operations, including the entire blue line, the firing ranges, Green Without Borders sites and containers, the tunnel sites, and all other sites of concern to which UNIFIL requires access in order to fulfill its mandate. Ensuring UNIFIL's peacekeepers are able to move freely is also critical to helping mitigate the growing risks to UNIFIL peacekeepers' safety and security that the UN has documented this year. Recalling that host governments have primary responsibility for ensuring the safety and security of UN personnel and assets, we urge the Lebanese authorities to investigate attacks against peacekeepers, hold to account those responsible, and proactively work to deter hostility toward peacekeepers. The United States underlines that the area between the Blue Line and Litani River must be free of weapons, except for those used by the government of Lebanon and UNIFIL. The Secretary General continues to document a proliferation of unauthorized weapons in this area. On a technical matter, Mr. President, we must clarify our position with respect to operative paragraph 21, condemning the presence of these weapons, because the provision of Resolution 1701 that calls for this area to be free of unauthorized weapons is not legally binding. Violation is therefore not the correct terminology. But that precise terminology aside, the United States shares this Council's significant concern about the state of affairs in southern Lebanon, in particular, Hezbollah's threatening activities. With this resolution, the Security Council has made clear that Hezbollah's continued amassing of weapons must stop. In conclusion, we call on Lebanese authorities to prevent such activities and on UNIFIL to fulfill its mandate by patrolling the entire area between the Blue Line and the Litani River. Thank you, Mr. President.
我感谢
I thank the representative of the United States for his statement. I now give the floor to the representative of the UAE.
Thank you, Mr. President, and I'd like to first commend our French colleagues for their unwavering commitment to securing a consensus outcome for this important mandate renewal. The UAE also appreciates the constructive and cooperative approach demonstrated by Council members to unify around a renewal of the United Nations Interim Force in Lebanon's mandate, UNIFIL. Lebanon faces overlapping generational crises that have visited profound socio-economic hardship on the Lebanese people. This resolution, therefore, represents the Security Council's much-needed reiteration of its commitment to Lebanon's sovereignty, independence, and territorial integrity as it navigates a difficult path forward. In that light, the UAE strongly welcomes the renewal, noting the request for renewal from the Government of Lebanon and the Secretary General's letter. We further recognize UNIFIL's vital role in supporting Lebanon and the Lebanese armed forces, and we underscore UNIFIL's valuable contribution to maintaining regional stability, especially in the absence of a permanent ceasefire. Here we must thank troop and police contributing countries whose generous contributions are the foundation of peacekeeping in Lebanon and beyond in our region. We particularly welcome the resolution's strengthened language expressing Council members' unified condemnation of the continued maintenance of weapons by armed groups outside the state's control in violation of Resolution 1701, as noted by the Secretary General. Additionally, we underscore that the maintenance of weapons by non-state groups has demonstrably been a grave threat to Lebanon's sovereignty, security, and stability, as well as to the region as a whole. The inclusion of such a condemnation in a unanimous resolution by the Security Council reflects a collective expectation that this core issue is urgently addressed in the interest of the Lebanese people and Lebanon's sovereignty. It remains vitally important that UNIFIL is able to support Lebanon through the coming period by carrying out the Security Council's mandate, including through its freedom of movement in its area of operations and along the Blue Line. The UAE looks forward to continuing to work with Council members with the same spirit of constructive cooperation to enhance this body's invaluable support to Lebanon's sovereignty, independence, and territorial integrity, and to realize the legitimate aspirations of the Lebanese people. And in conclusion, given that this is the last official meeting, I believe, of the Council this month, I'd like to take this opportunity to also congratulate China on a very successful and productive presidency this month, and I extend our best wishes to our colleagues in the French delegation for a successful presidency of the Council in September. Thank you, Mr. President.
我感
I thank the representative of the UAE for her statement, and I also thank her comments, overwhelming remarks for the presidency. And now I give the floor to the representative of India.
Thank you, Mr. President. India voted in favor of the resolution to extend the mandate of the United Nations Interim Force in Lebanon, as we recognize and value the critical role played by UNIFIL in maintaining stability across the Blue Line, thereby contributing to regional stability. As one of the largest troop contributing countries to UNIFIL, India remains steadfast in its support for the sovereignty, territorial integrity, and political independence of Lebanon. We thank the delegation of France for its important role in facilitating the negotiations on this resolution and accommodating the various views of Council members. We welcome the resolution's focus on addressing the key challenges faced by UNIFIL, restrictions on UNIFIL's freedom of movement, both in land and at sea, and denial of access to sites of its operational interest in a timely manner. The resolution also underscores the need to counter widespread misinformation about UNIFIL's mandate and how UNIFIL can conduct its patrolling and operations, which is a positive development. Such misinformation not only adversely impacts UNIFIL's operational capabilities, but also pose a threat to the safety and security of its peacekeeping personnel. However, while we extend UNIFIL's mandate, it is equally important that we provide them with adequate resources that are required to perform the tasks expected from them. Additional tasks being mandated to be carried out within its existing resources would impact the overall effectiveness of UNIFIL. We do hope that this anomaly can be addressed sooner than later. I thank you.
Microphone.
下面请
I thank the representative of India. I now give the floor to the representative of Brazil.
I briefly take the floor, Mr. President, to commend China for its very successful presidency during the month of August and without ties. Thank you. I also wish France all the best during the presidency next month. Thank you very much.
I thank the representative of Brazil for his comments and his greetings to the presidency. I'm confident that next month you will have the opportunity to show off your collection of ties, of neckties. There are no more names inscribed on the list of speakers. The meeting is adjourned.
leave. We have another one.
The 9,122nd meeting of the Security Council is called to order. The provisional agenda for this meeting is Peace and Security in Africa. The agenda is adopted. The Security Council will now begin its consideration of item 2 of the agenda. The Council has before it the text of a statement by the President on behalf of the Council on the subject of today's meeting. I thank the Council members for their valuable contributions to this statement. In accordance with the understanding reached among the members of the Council, I shall take it that the members of the Security Council agree to the statement, which will be issued as a document of the Security Council under the symbol S/PRST/2022/6. I shall now make a statement in my capacity as the representative of China.
各位同事，
Dear colleagues, members of the Security Council have adopted by consensus the presidential statement on African capacity building, which is of great significance to promoting further support for capacity building and achieving lasting peace in the continent. At the outset, I wish to thank Gabon, Ghana, and Kenya for their active participation and strong support throughout the consultation process, especially for their valuable input from the perspective of African countries, which made this presidential statement more responsive to the needs of Africa. I also wish to thank all the other members of the Security Council for their constructive participation in the consultations. I thank you all for your cooperation and support. I think my colleagues would agree with me that this statement is timely and action-oriented. It has put forward systematic proposals on what must be done to help Africa strengthen its capacity building. It has in particular proposed specific actions on issues of general concern to African countries. It is hoped that the Security Council will take this opportunity to continue its support to peace and security in Africa and maintain close consultations with African countries as we work together to achieve the goals set in the presidential statement and make greater contributions to peace, stability, security, and development in Africa. Of course, this presidential statement may not be perfect. We understand that members of the Security Council may have different views on some issues. The consultation process was not easy, but thanks to the joint efforts of all parties, we have finally reached a consensus which sent out a strong message of unity and cooperation. This proves once again that as long as members of the Security Council are patient, ready to consult on an equal footing, and fully take into consideration of each other's concerns, we can always find effective solutions no matter how difficult the situations are or how complicated the issues might be. Consultations for consensus are in our best interests. It is also consistent with the general expectation of the international community and are the duties that members of the Security Council must jointly fulfill. And that is all I hope to share with you at the end of China's presidency. At the same time, on behalf of the Chinese delegation, I wish to express my sincere gratitude to members of the Security Council and the Secretariat of the Security Council for their strong support. Without the hard work, support, and active contributions of delegations and representatives of the Secretariat, including conference staff, interpreters, translators, verbatim reporters, and security personnel, we could not have completed this month's work on our own. Finally, I wish the French delegation every success in its work as President of the Council for the month of September. Now I resume my function as President of the Council. There are no more speakers names on the list of speakers. The meeting is adjourned.